Good evening and welcome, or good afternoon, depending where you are. I'm Barbara Jean, and this is the good news, your Friday night uplift, inspiring, beautiful stories of kindness and interest. And so get ready because this is going to be a good one. Well, we're starting off today with an English couple who decided to quit their jobs to travel around the world for 4 years in a van, becoming social media stars. Well, see, anybody could do that. A couple who quit their jobs and sold all their belongings to travel in a camper van has completed an epic 4 year adventure around the world. Along with avoiding their work at Britain's National Health Service just months before pandemic control started, they amassed a huge following on social media through their travels. And Chris and Marianne Fisher set off on their journey on January 2020, right before the pandemic, in a 20-year-old Fiat Ducato camper van called Trudy. Oh, I like that. With 40,000 miles, which they bought for about $21,000 2 years earlier. The pair said they realized they needed to live for now. What a great motto. Live for now. Whew, I like that. So they sold everything inside their 6 bedroom property in Telford, England, and rented it out to help pay for their journey. In total, the couple in their mid 50s traveled 67,000 miles and visited 29 countries, logging 28 million YouTube views and 180,000 subscribers. Whew! Take a trip around the world and look what happens. I think when you're sitting at a desk looking out of the window and there's a brick wall, whether it's a weekend away or a whole craziness like we've done, I would encourage anyone to just go out, said Marianne. If you got something that's stopping you, a fear, message me and I will put you straight. And she says it's been phenomenal. Different places, different cultures. Everybody's given us a warm welcome around the world. After leaving Telford, Chris and Marianne crossed Europe before arriving in Turkey just in time for COVID-19 lockdowns. The pair settled on becoming Turkish residents for 18 months before making the decision to ship the van to South Carolina and drive across the United States. Arriving in San Francisco, the couple headed to Vancouver at the start of a loop around Alaska. They swam in the Arctic Ocean after driving 1,000 miles along a dirt road called the Dempster Highway, which leads to the most northerly road point of Canada. The pair then crossed back into the US and drove part of Route 66 into California, then into Mexico. This group, they've been doing some stuff, and I think that is beautiful. Take the time, live now. You know what? It's a really great idea. So bravo to them. Okay, well, there's been a lot of stuff going on in the US right now with hurricanes, and there is support. There is support. After Hurricane Helene slammed into the southeastern US, the governors in South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, and Virginia said they are getting government assistance from their emergency response efforts, and most of the officials have praised the FEMA government action so far. It's been superb, said Henry McMaster. We're getting assistance and we've asked for everything we need. And we're asking for everything we need. In the hardest hit, North Carolina, Governor Roy Cooper said Friday that priority is still search and rescue efforts with 92 teams currently deployed who are still bringing people to safety. Meanwhile, supplies are being flown into Asheville, North Carolina by the federal FEMA managers. They've delivered 1 million liters of water and 600,000 meals. We have sent out hundreds of pallets to 20 different locations throughout Western North Carolina. It's been amazing to see the work that's going on, said Cooper, describing it as an unprecedented, massive effort being coordinated among local, state, and federal governments and nonprofits. Wow. It's fascinating when you look at stuff like this. And then that second hurricane, Milton, hit this week. So there's going to be cleaning up for a long time. Angels with Wings, one of those nonprofits, has become a key to both search and rescue, getting supplies to people without water or electricity. Operation Airdrop, a collection of aviators who fly into disaster zones, reported that its nationwide membership logged nearly 100 missions in the first 2 days in North Carolina and Tennessee. Wow. It's horrible to see these things happen, but it's beautiful to see the response from people and the love that gets shared. So bravo to these heroes that are doing this work. It is important. Well, here's a very interesting story as we continue along that Hurricane Helene story. This is a rescue of a dog that was 20 feet up, stranded in a tree, and they've reunited the dog with the family. Humans are the only loved ones being rescued in the wake of Hurricane Helene destruction. The situation looked desperate for a dog that lived in Jonesboro, Tennessee, when flooding overtook her home and her family almost gave up hope that she had survived. But on Wednesday, October 2nd, after the river receded, the Kingsport Fire Department was out surveying the wreckage with a team of rescue workers. A canine dog was helping search for casualties when he began barking uncontrollably. The bloodhound was walking and then started going crazy, said Captain Zach Helvey. I just happened to look up in the tree and it was like, oh my God, there's a dog in the tree. Not something you see every day for sure. The rescue team found a ladder in the debris and used it to climb up, where they lured the pup with food straight into a firefighter's arms. Back on the ground, Athena was cuddling with all the rescuers. She was thanking us, said Zach. The fire department shared images of the dog rescue on Facebook, and Athena's family spotted the video. I was weeping, I was laughing, I was so happy, the owner said. Despite watching their home float away like an arc, they described the reunion with their pooch as a light at the end of the tunnel. Oh, how sweet is that? I have a dog, and I'll tell you, I would be so sad if something like that happened. All right, one more story, and then we're going to go to a commercial break. This one is fascinating. Who knew? A hero passenger lands a plane after her pilot suffers a cardiac arrest. Wow. Picture it. You're happily sitting aboard a plane and the pilot falls over unconscious. It's the stuff of nightmares and Hollywood movies, but for one Californian, it was all too real. On what was supposed to be a flight from Las Vegas to Monterey, the twin-engine aircraft was diverted to Bakersfield before the pilot went into cardiac arrest. A brave female passenger took the helm and received instructions from Kern County Air Traffic Control Tower at the airport at Meadows Field, where County Airport Director Ron Brewster spoke to NBC about the ordeal. We were able to get fire, ambulance, and everybody on standby, so as the aircraft came to a stop, they were getting medical attention in seconds, he said. Audio released by the Kern County Airport captures some of the instructions given to the passenger, who was instructed to keep her airspeed at around 132 miles an hour. Both GNN, Good News Network, where we got these stories, and Discovery Channel's Mythbusters have shown that passengers possessing no flight experience whatsoever can be talked into landing a plane successfully. So who knows? Maybe you'll get a chance next. Well, on that note, you're watching the Good News here on Friday night, and we're going to take a short commercial break. We'll be right back.
On behalf of everyone at New Thought Media Network, thank you for being a member of our virtual family. Your financial contributions help share the New Thought message with people from around the world. Please visit and contribute at www.ntmedia.org/donate. New Thought Media Network, come be you. And please like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, peace and blessings. New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Well, I'll tell you, we've got a bunch more really great stories for you, so get ready. Here's an interesting one. I know we all love going to the gym. So, visiting the gym today could trigger a bright idea next week, shows a new study. The everyday effects of sleep, exercise, heart rate, and mood, both good and bad, could linger in our brains for over 2 weeks, according to a pioneering study. Finnish researchers tracked one person's brain and behavioral activity for 5 months using brain scans and data from wearable devices and smartphones. We wanted to go beyond isolated events, said the research leader, Anna Triani. Our behavior and mental states are constantly shaped by our environment and experiences, yet we know little about the response of brain functional connectivity to environmental, physiological, and behavioral changes on different timescales from days to months. The study found that our brains do not respond to daily life in immediate, isolated bursts. Instead, brain activity evolves in response to sleep patterns, physical activity, mood, and respiration rate over many days. This suggests that a workout or a restless night, even from last week, could still affect your brain, and therefore your attention, cognition, and memory well into next week. Though the study wasn't focused exclusively on physical activity, the results speak to what cardiovascular exercise guru Dr. Benjamin Levine recently said on a popular health and fitness podcast about how exercise should best be thought of as a part of one's personal hygiene. Whew, never heard it referred to like that before. Physical activity was also found in the Finnish experiment to positively influence the way brain regions interact, acting memory and cognitive flexibility. Even subtle shifts in mood and heart rate left lasting imprints for up to 15 days. Ooh, the research is unusual. A release from Aalto University suggests because few brain studies involve detail monitoring over days and weeks, the use of wearable technology was crucial. Brain scans are useful tools, but a snapshot of someone lying still for half an hour can only show so much. Our brains do not work in isolation. Imagine you can go to the gym today and have the benefit for 2 weeks. Well, maybe not physical benefit, but definitely the mood. So that's very cool information. I'll tell you, we get some great stories here. This one, two safari parks complete a rhino swap to unite sisters for the first time. Look at the babies. Big ones. Two UK safari parks have completed a rhino swap, trading a captive born male ready to breed for a feisty female who's off to where her sister lives. The male is believed to have the necessary genetics to sire many healthy rhinos, which zookeepers said should go a long way toward helping keep the species intact. Bonnie, a 2-ton, yeah, she's little, right? Cute. 2-ton southern white rhino has already arrived at West Midlands Safari Park, while the male, Granville, made his way to Woburn Safari Park in Bedfordshire. Granville was born at West Midlands Park in 2018 to a mother rhino named Ailsa, who coincidentally is also Bonnie's sister, meaning the swap reunited the sisters who had never met before. The two parks said they hope their collaborative efforts will go some way to preserving the genetic diversity of the species, which, despite being the world's most numerous rhino, is still considered to be the IUCN to be threatened. It has been bittersweet for the team. We have all enjoyed watching him grow up from a cute little tank running around the safari, excited to meet the other species in his habitat to the character he is today. So here we've got this beautiful male who will reproduce and create more beautiful, wonderful, big rhinos and two sisters together at last. I think that's a very, very sweet thing all the way around. Oh my goodness, puppy dogs. Don't you just love a puppy dog? This dog sits down in the middle of the road, unmoving, until an officer follows to save her owner. Yes, dogs are worth having. They do good work. From Washington State comes the story of a senior citizen being saved by his senior canine who risked her life obstructing traffic in order to find help. On September 25th, the unnamed 84-year-old owner of this beautiful pooch named Gita fell, hurt his leg, and couldn't move. Gita then ran down to the main road where she stood on the paving lines waiting for someone to stop. That someone was Deputy Wright, who was patrolling that particular area of Stevens County. Seeing neither house nor owner, Wright alighted on the road to try and get Gita into his patrol car, but the dog wouldn't budge. Visiting nearby residents, Wright couldn't identify the dog's owner. Sensing something amiss, Wright went back to the dog, which was now lying on the center line. Wright tried to move the dog yet again, but this time she took off up a steep, unmarked, poorly traveled side road. Wright followed the dog, and it led him to a small summer cabin. He began checking around the area and observed an elderly male lying on the ground calling for help a short distance from the cabin. The 84-year-old male, who also had other medical conditions needing regular medications, had fallen and injured his leg. He had laid there for hours and may have had serious consequences if he had not been found. We credit Gita for saving his life that day. The loyalty and heroism of our furry friends never ceases to amaze us. Second cousin of the injured man, Pat Lolavera, praised Deputy Wright for following his instincts and Gita for her incredible intelligence and dedication. Oh, puppies, puppies, puppies. You gotta love those puppies. Okay, so let's take a look at a little more historical things here. A decorative throne room unearthed may have belonged to an ancient Peruvian queen. Queen. Excavations on a pre-Inca site in northern Peru revealed the presence of a throne room where court was held by a woman. Unfairly obscured by the glory of the Incan Empire, the medieval Mocha culture are known as prolific builders and inspired artists, but it was during this season's excavations that a startling revelation was made. Among the remains of the archaeological site known as Panamarca, a throne room richly decorated with murals has been dug up. The murals are nothing new because at Panamarca, there's not one surface that's bare. To quote one archaeologist on the dig team, obviously everybody likes to mark those walls. But this time, the murals threw up a surprise: images of a queen, a high priestess, or female god dominated the depictions, sometimes receiving lines of people, sometimes sitting on a throne, and other times wielding a scepter. Signs of a sovereign almost everywhere. The Queen of Panamarca has breathed new life into the study of this antique culture. In the shadows of the Aztecs, Inca, and Maya, many other great cultures, civilizations, and even empires flourished in the Americas before the arrival of Europeans. The Moqui culture, with a heartland that rested around modern-day Trujillo in coastal northwest Peru, is just one of these peoples. Existing from about 350 CE to 850 CE, the Moqui painted every square inch of surface area on their large adobe temples and palaces with intricate murals. The most famous finds associated with the Moqui temples of the Sun and Moon, a short drive from Trujillo. In contrast to this important site and tourist attraction, Panamarca is still under excavation, is under the responsibility of the Archaeological Landscapes of Panamarca, who released a statement on the discovery. The adobe throne was found within what project director has named the Hall of the Moqui Imaginary. It is surrounded by walls and pillars depicting 4 different scenes of powerful women. Oh, wow. I'll tell you, there's a lot more going on with the women in this world and in the past than what we may have thought. So, for all the women out there, just know that you too could be seated on a throne. All right. Well, this one, it's so interesting. I look at the art of Picasso and I'm confused a little bit, but a painting was found in an Italian villa basement, and it turns out to be an original Picasso. A painting that was found in a basement, signed with the name Picasso, but that was dismissed, thrust into a cheap frame, hung in the family house, and then in a restaurant, has finally been recognized as an authentic piece of this by the Spanish artist. The value is already estimated to be $6 million. But if recognized by the Pablo Picasso Foundation in Paris, it could be worth twice or thrice that much. The painting is believed to be an asymmetrical image of Dora Maar, who was Picasso's lover at a time when he spent a period on the Italian island of Capri, where in the 1950s, Luigi Lo Rosso, a local pawnbroker who used to comb dumps and abandoned houses for treasures, found it in the basement of an empty villa. Well, that's a healthy find. Wonder if there's anything in my basement. You might want to check yours. I don't think I want a Picasso hanging in my house, but I'll tell you, I'd love to find one. All right. This story is such a sweet, sweet story. Scientists grow a tree from a 1,000-year-old seed found in a cave. And it may be a medicinal plant that was lost. So during an archaeological dig in a desert area north of Jerusalem 40 years ago, a seed was discovered which was determined to be in pristine condition, but had obviously seen many a year. Now, despite falling from its parent 1,000 years ago, it has grown into a mature tree, and botanists examining it believe it may be an extinct species that was used for medicinal purposes for thousands of years, even receiving a nod in the Bible. Neither Israeli botanist nor Dr. Sarah Sellen, a physician who found the Louis L. Boruch Natural Medicine, who founded the research center, could determine what species it was simply from the seed covering. So they did what nature intended. They planted it. Of course. What else would you do? Using a well-documented technique that saw a 2,000-year-old date palm fig pits germinate, Dr. Sun soaked the seed in hormones, liquid fertilizer, and water, and then planted it in a pot of sterile seed, then waited. Despite its genetic code being exposed to environmental stressors for over 1,000 years, the seed sprouted after 5 weeks. The shoot was protected by a cap-like feature called an operculum. As the shoot grew, the operculum was shed, leaving something for the team to radiocarbon date. It narrowed down the age of the almost 10-century-old seed to between the years 993 and 1202. That is remarkable. So fast forward 14 years and the plant has become a 10-foot tall tree. Dr. Salon shared images of the tree, its bark, and its leaves with botanists around the world, and one expert suggests it belongs to the genus Commiphora, found across the Arabian Peninsula and parts of Africa. A genetic analysis subsequently revealed this was the case, but a perfect match was lacking. Dr. Sellen and her team thought it was an extinct species known from history as Judean balsam. But the best way to confirm that suspicion would be to have some aromatic traces similar to the resin in the myrrh tree to which it is related. However, no such fragrant compounds were detected. Inside the chemical analysis of the leaves, identified a group of phytochemicals known as something. Some of these scientific words are tough, sorry, which have been observed in a related species that's known to possess certain cancer-fighting properties in its resin. A medicinal balm, the origin of which is not known, is mentioned in multiple historical texts, including the Bible. And rather, the fragrant Judea balsam, it's this that Dr. Sonerty believe they have found. Wow, 1,000 years later, the seed grows. Holy moly. All right, one last story for tonight, and then I'm gone for another couple of weeks, and you'll have Robert back next week, I believe. So, new evidence near mysterious carvings show Persians may have escaped to Madagascar for religious freedom. So we've had these challenges going back a long way, haven't we? Among the sandstone hills and boulders of Madagascar's Isalo National Park, the curious archaeological site of Taniki has puzzled researchers for decades. These three rock niches, one believed to be a makeshift shelter for shipwrecked Portuguese sailors, have now been reinterpreted as a sort of Persian Plymouth Rock, founded by religious settlers looking to practice their religion in peace. Both theories require robust evidence, and a dedicated Swiss team working at the Taniki site have turned up at least enough to dismantle the shipwrecked sailors' theory. Zoroastrianism was the faith of the early Persian Empire, established by the ancient Iranian prophet Zarathustra. It is a dualistic theology that acknowledges both the creative and destructive forces in the universe and holds fire as a sacred symbol. With worshippers in Iran and Arabia, it survives as one of the oldest formalized faiths. In Switzerland, University of Bern, the archaeologist has visited the site several times and was the first to propose that the enigmatic rock-cut niches bear an uncanny similarity to those used in classical Persia as burial coffers for the dead, according to their tradition. For starters, the niches are completely unlike anything found in Malagasy or East Africa antiquity. And further, the earliest carbon-dated organic remains at the Taniki site indicate habitation as early as 10 centuries ago, long before the Portuguese established the route to India. The scope of the site is also significantly greater than one would expect lost sailors requiring temporary shelter would build. The total area of the site's architectural features and masonry is about 300,000 square feet and consists of man-made terraces, rock-cut niches in the steep cliffs, and a rock shelter delimited by walls consisting of carved sandstone blocks. Complicating the matter further, pottery shards found at Taniki have their origin in Southeast Asia and China, suggesting that whoever inhabited Taniki would have had contact with the maritime trade routes that connected Africa and West Asia to the Orient. But Taniki still sits about as far from the ocean as it's possible to be on the island. There's no evidence of agriculture and no human remains, and it's no wonder the title of the research paper published based on the years of work is Enigmatic Architecture at an Archaeological Site in Southern Madagascar. Well, that's it for this week and the good news. Thank you for watching. You're watching the New Thought Network, and we are so grateful that you do. Pardon me. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Come back next Friday. There's going to be more good news to celebrate. And believe me, given everything that's happened in the last couple of weeks, some good news is good food. Have a wonderful weekend. If you're Canadian, happy Thanksgiving. If you're American, wait a month and you'll get yours. Have a great one. Much love. Signing off. Next time.
New Thought Media Network is on the rise. We're looking to grow with you. Do you have technical media experience or perhaps a desire to learn? Are you willing to volunteer your precious time and attention? We share this message to benefit all. If you possess a computer with a camera and a microphone, we will share our knowledge with you. Behind the scenes or being the star, let us bless our one. Contact us at info@ntmedia.org.